fix my necklaces. Hello, mamas. I am so happy to be here on day 2 of the Thrive in 5 challenge. I sincerely hope that you did some work yesterday, which was to potentially cut out sugar. And I say potentially, but this is a 5-day challenge. Why don't you just do it, right? This is day 2 of 5. Cut out the sugar. You will feel better. I can guarantee that you will feel better mentally and physically if you cut out the sugar. The other thing we talked about yesterday was, I'm just organizing myself here. The other thing we talked about yesterday was having a morning meeting with yourself. Did you have your morning meeting today? I know I did. I said to myself, how do I want to feel today? When my head hits the pillow tonight, how do I want to feel? And then what are the steps that I have to take to get there? So that was my morning meeting. It can be as simple as that. And the final thing from yesterday was to make salad dressing. Olive oil. I gave you a recipe that had balsamic vinegar, but you can do any kind of vinegar. You can do lemon juice, chopped garlic, sea salt, pepper, herbs of your choice if you want to, Dijon mustard, maple syrup. Done. If that is done, if you did that and it's now in your fridge, you can thank yourself time and again. Just like you can thank yourself for showing up for this challenge, for signing up for this challenge, because you are taking steps for better health, toward your better health. Today, we're talking about cravings. This is a huge thing because so many healthy eating plans will say, here's what to do. And they're really good plans, but they don't necessarily address what happens when the cravings come, because they will, because we are human. And I want to address that. I want to address the mental and emotional aspects of health and of craving certain foods that are absolutely inevitable to being human. We have stressful days, we have stressful moments in our days, and the things that we are naturally inclined to turn to mostly include sugar and sugary foods. I want to help you today to know that you can actually change that. Just because that's been your natural, your go-to, your entire life maybe, does not mean that you can't change that. This is coming from a recovered sugarholic. I used to call myself a recovering sugarholic, and I now call myself a recovered sugarholic because I look at foods that I used to be like, oh yeah, that would taste good. And now I'm like, I don't want what that's going to do to me, really. Physiologically, I don't want the blood sugar up and down. I don't want the emotional, like the mood swings, like feeling really good and feeling really energized and then feeling really crappy and craving more of the same. I don't want that. I can't have that, in fact. So for me, this is everything. When it comes to healthy eating plan, doing a challenge, a health challenge, incorporating new things, number one to me is about the cravings and how can I prevent them and how can I deal with them when they come up. We're going to go over today 6 different areas of this because getting rid of cravings and even addressing cravings, it requires a multifaceted approach. There's not just one thing. And I want you to know that. So let's go over all 6 things. And piece by piece, I really want you to pay attention to each thing as I break it down. And I want you to think, oh yeah, that could be the missing piece for me. Because maybe 2 or 3 of these things that we're going to talk about today, you'll really connect with and think, yeah, that is me. That is what I have to work on. That is what I have to do and to focus on. Or maybe you'll say, it's all relevant to me. So that's individual and only you will know that. So really pay attention and just let yourself, I should say, just be open, I should say. Pay attention as much as you can, but just be open to hearing these things and really thinking of how much of an impact they can make in your life based on where you're at now. I want you to know, first of all, that cravings are overcomable. No matter how in the thick of it you might be right now, you can get past your cravings. You can get past your food addictions. You need to know that. Having go-to strategies is the key. So you have to know what to do, and then you have to do it. So you have to have these strategies that we're going to talk about today in your back pocket, and then you have to do them and you have to practice them. It's not just something that necessarily that you're like, and done. When it comes to cravings, as you'll see today, it's actually a matter of changing our brain. Yeah, we have to upgrade our brain. We have to make some switches in there. And that is not a matter of just doing it once. It's a matter of repetition. So our brain says, oh, this is the new pattern. When I have a craving, this is what I do. When I'm faced with two foods, or to eat or not to eat, this is what I choose. Oh, the more you do that, the easier it becomes. I also want you to know, we're talking about cravings, but we might as well say addiction. Sugar addiction is real. Sugar activates the same pleasure centers in our brain as addictive substances like cocaine do, and cocaine does. Sugar activates the same pleasure centers. It makes us feel just as good, but I don't want to say it's more dangerous. It's just as dangerous. It's everywhere. It's so accepted. In fact, it's like pushed on us from when we're kids. Have a popsicle, have an ice cream, have this candy. This is your treat. This is your reward. Yes, go trick-or-treating. Yes, 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 yes. This sugar is good because this is a treat. Even the way that we say, you can have your dinner, but then you can have your treat. If you have your dinner, you're calling it a treat. I find myself doing that too. I have to stop myself. I don't want my kids to think of these foods as treats because that makes them sound like better than they are. Listen, I'm real. I'm a real human being. My kids are real human beings. This is the real world. They are exposed to sugary foods. Yes, they sometimes have them. Yes, I also say no. So for me, it's a balance. Every parent, as far as how you handle that with your kids, is individual. Every parent has a different, and every parenting team has a different way of doing it. I'm talking about how I'm doing it for myself and how I'm suggesting you do it for you. So yeah, sugar's pushed on us ever since we can remember, ever since we are babies, literally. It's crazy. It's incessant. And the more that we consume, the more that our brain actually needs in order to create that same result. So you have sugar, your brain's like, oh, pleasure. This is so delicious. This feels so good. Because why do we eat? We are looking for a feeling. We want to feel a certain way. We want to feel good. We want to feel happy. We want to have pleasure. This is why we do what we do, no matter what it is. This is why we eat, because we want to have a certain feeling. Our brain's going to give us that feeling. But the more sugar that you eat, the more often you eat it, the more that you need in order to activate that same response. So suddenly, that bag of Skittles doesn't quite have that same reaction in your body. You're like, oh, I felt really good the last time I ate this. I felt like really happy and joyful. I'm still missing something. I need more now. So you have now the bag of M&Ms, or you go into the bag of chips and then you start having those. Oh, there comes that pleasure. And you need more and more and more. We're also going to get into today the fact that that's not actually giving you pleasure. Yes, you're feeling it. Your brain says, whoa, huge pleasure. But it's a dopamine hit. It's like you can get that from other places, and it doesn't have to be so in your face. It shouldn't be in your face. It should be like longer lasting, but still really pleasurable. Sugar does not give us long-term pleasure. Sugar does not make us happy. Sugary foods do not make us happy. So here's the 6 areas we're going to cover today. Number 1, activate your higher brain. We're going to figure out how the heck to do that today. Number 2, eat enough of the right foods. Two keywords there, the right foods and enough of them. Number 3, be willing to choose discomfort. Okay. Yeah, it's not always going to be comfortable. Number 4, make the choice to do it. Number 5, get moving. And number 6, as I've already suggested to you, truly realize and understand that sugar does not make you happy. So let's go through this. I love this. Number 1 is to activate your higher brain. So we have 2 areas of our brain that are involved in decision making. We have our higher brain that we want to activate, and we have our primal brain that we want to deactivate a little bit. Think of your higher brain as the angel voice. Like we have 2 voices in our head. The angel brain says, you know, you probably shouldn't have that birthday cake. I'm just thinking it's not going to really do you good in the long run. So don't have it. But this contesting voice says, the primal brain says, wait a second, it's going to taste really good and you're going to feel really good if you eat it. So go eat it now. Higher brain, primal brain. Angel voice, rebel voice. So angel voice is our higher brain. That's what we want to activate more. How do we do that? At first, it feels more like you're forcing, like you're trying to listen to that angel voice, listen to that higher brain, and make decisions based on what she would tell you to do. Because our higher brain, our angel voice, is only really caring and only really invested in our long-term gains, in our long-term health, and how we're going to feel 4 weeks from now. That is what our higher brain cares about. That's what our angel brain wants for us, is to make these food choices based on how will you feel next week? How will you feel in 4 weeks from now? But on the other hand, our primal brain, that rebel voice, he only cares about the here and now. He only cares about pleasure now. Eat now. Yes, birthday cake. Yes, please. That is all he cares about. Here's the kicker. The more that we listen to one area of our brain, the more likely it is and the easier it is to keep making that same decision. Because as we make these choices, we actually create new neural pathways in our brain. That is crazy. We create new neural pathways, and we have the ability to do so based on the decisions that we make. So if we're listening to angel voice, if we're listening to our higher brain more often, it becomes easier and easier and almost habitual. It's more likely that you will choose that in future. And each time you are faced with that birthday cake, now you're more likely to say, no, thank you. This primal brain is getting squished a little bit. We want to squish him. He's the rebel that only cares about you right now. He just wants you to feel pleasure right now. It's like, thanks, rebel. But I would rather feel good in 4 weeks. And if I listen to you, rebel, every single day, multiple times a day, how will I feel in 4 weeks? I'm probably going to feel pretty bloated physically. I'm probably going to feel tons of cravings. My mood, pretty irritable, pretty up and down, pretty mood swingy, as I like to call it. How about my pride? How about when my head hits a pillow? How do I feel each night that I listen to my rebel brain more than my higher brain? Not great. Not great at all. Not feeling satisfied, not feeling super nourished from my foods. And the more that we make decisions based on this primal brain only cares about pleasure, only cares about the here and now, the more likely it is that we're going to keep making that choice time and again. So we now have to take the stand and we have to say, okay, there are 2 areas of my brain actually responsible for decision making. I will now listen to the higher brain. I will now listen to the angel voice. Yes, it's going to be harder at first. And yes, it will become easier the more that I do it. That is what we have to do. We have to say, okay, my higher brain is thinking about consequences. I know. Yeah, it's not as fun right now, but I'm going to thank her next week. I'm going to thank her tonight when my head hits the pillow. Never mind. Never mind next week. I'm going to thank her 4 weeks from now. I'm going to thank her at the end of this year when it's 3 months from now. And I kept listening to her and she kept getting stronger and stronger. So it was easier to listen to her. Oh, I'm going to feel so good because I kept listening to her. I'm going to feel so good physically, mentally, emotionally. That is what I want for you. And that is so possible. Number 2. So that's the brain, that's the mental. That is the biggest part of it for me, in my experience, is the mental. Number 2, because this is also really big, is to eat enough of the right foods. We have to eat enough of the right foods. So here's what I mean by that. Let's go to yesterday. We talked about the simple meal formula. So you pick your protein, you choose your vegetable, and you add your fats. So you've got your protein, your vegetable, and your fats. That makes up the ideal meal, meaning it's got enough of those nutrients that are going to truly nourish your body, truly nourish your cells, and give them what they need to do their functions. We have trillions of cells in our bodies. They have countless functions. We didn't even know all their functions, and they just go on and do it without us even consciously thinking about it. How amazing is that? It's amazing. Our bodies are truly miraculous. We have to feed our bodies the right foods and enough of them. So we're looking for protein in every single meal. We're looking for fat in every single meal and vegetables in most meals, because I don't always have a vegetable with breakfast, for example. But it's important. Veggies are important. They give us a lot of fiber, a lot of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. They're definitely important. So protein, vegetable, fats. When it comes to physiological cravings, I will tell you that when you have more protein and fat in your diet, you will crave less. The mental cravings will still be there, some of which we've already gone over, more to come today. But physically, we've got to take care of that physical first, because then the mental becomes a lot easier to manage when your blood sugar isn't also saying, yeah, I need that right now. I need that sugar because I need to get higher again. I need my blood sugar level to go back up. When we have protein and fat, that helps us to drastically reduce our cravings for sugar. Our cravings in general, but especially our cravings for sugar. It is so huge. So we have to eat these correct foods, these proper foods, but also we have to eat enough of them. We have to eat enough of them. So here's the deal. Here's a scenario for you. Let's say you're having dinner. Let's say it's chicken breast, brown rice, asparagus, and you decided to have a salad too. Fantastic. I mean, you don't always have to have a salad. Maybe it's just the chicken, the rice, and the asparagus, but let's just add a salad for fun. Great. I want to know how much of that chicken you actually eat. Because my guess is that you'll finish your rice. You may or may not finish the salad. You'll have a few pieces of asparagus, but more than likely, in my experience, you will have maybe half of the chicken breast. You might have the whole thing. You might be like, this is not me. That's fine. The majority of you will say, yeah, I don't finish the chicken breast. Well, I feel full. So, and that's fine if you do. But we need the protein from that chicken. The rest of the meal did not provide enough protein. Most women need 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So if we're not having the full chicken breast, probably not getting that. What's going to happen later? Well, it's going to be the evening time. I'm going to want the ice cream that I know is in the freezer. So is it actually a subconscious or maybe even conscious thing that we're saying, I'm full. Here's my plate. I'm just going to stop eating that right now. Because subconsciously or consciously, we are planning for that evening snack. We know the chips are there in the pantry. We know the ice cream's in the freezer. We just bought the new flavor. It was on sale, so gotta have it. And so we're not actually finishing our meal that we should be finishing because our body needs the protein way more than it needs that sugar. It doesn't need the sugar. In fact, it's detrimental, right? It's not just that we don't need it, but it actually causes issues for us. Is that true for you? And you might say, no, that is not true at all. In which case, great. You don't even have to address this then. You're eating enough, hopefully, and that's great. But I know some of you are saying, yeah, that's totally me. And that's okay. Like you're in the majority. That's normal. So we have to say, okay, we now have to eat way more. Maybe not way more, but maybe. We have to eat more to really nourish our bodies. We have to super nourish our bodies. We have to ideally finish that chicken breast on our plate. And yeah, have the salad too. Have the rice if you're still hungry. Finish that off too. But don't have the rice, the high carb, instead of having the protein rich, instead of having good fats added. Here's the other thing too. There's two parts to it. You might actually be you're not actually hungry in the evening. So let's think about your dinner, right? Maybe you didn't finish your chicken breast. Now it's evening. You're on the couch. You're watching Netflix. We all do it, right? You're like, okay, now it's time for my evening snack. What am I going to have? It's going to be popcorn tonight, maybe some cookies. You get the drift. And you know, because you experience it, right? I used to. I get it. I totally get it. I'm right there with you. So you're thinking about what is my snack? Okay. Number one, you might not be hungry, but it's a craving. Sorry. Yes, it is a craving, but it's also a habit. I was like, what is the word? I thought it was a C word. No, it's a habit. So you're maybe hungry, but maybe you're not even hungry, but it's a habit. It is this ingrained habit that you formed so long ago that you still keep up with. I don't want that for you. You don't want that for you because it just leads to more and more and more. You have the power, mama. You have the power to say, no, I can change that habit. I can start a new habit right now. And we're going to talk more about habits on Thursday in 2 days from now. I can change that habit right now and form a new one. Think about your angel voice. I can form a new habit, new neural pathways to make this habit easier and more ingrained, a habit that makes me not eating that evening snack. Or if I am eating the evening snack, it's a little bit healthier. Maybe you're having some salty pumpkin seeds, and I'll give you the recipe in our email today in the Facebook group as well. Maybe you're having some almond butter with coconut oil stirred together. Delicious, right off the spoon. Maybe you're having that. Those are healthier snack choices if you truly are hungry. So that's number one. Maybe you're, actually, I kind of mixed it. Okay. Number one is maybe you are hungry, maybe you're not, but it's that habit that you're going for. Number two, maybe you actually are physiologically hungry. Now we have to say, okay, if we're hungry, we have to snack because I don't want you not to eat if you're hungry. That's not the goal ever. The goal is to always nourish your body totally. So if you're hungry, you should be having a healthier snack like the salty pumpkin seeds. I'll give you the recipe, like the almond butter straight up from the bowl. Those are some examples. Two of my favorites. We also, though, have to look at, why am I hungry? I had my meal. Why am I still hungry? Did I not have enough protein in that meal? Maybe I could have finished the chicken. Maybe I could have had more of the salmon. Maybe I could have finished my smoothie if that's what you have for dinner. Even breakfast. Maybe because it starts from breakfast and then lunch and then dinner. It all works together. Our bodies don't just say, well, it was only what you ate for dinner as to how you feel now. It starts right from breakfast. So maybe I had to have more protein. Maybe I had to finish my dinner if I actually wasn't full yet and satisfied. Maybe you needed more fats. So maybe it was a chicken breast, but maybe you could have added some butter to your rice. Imagine that, because now you're adding good fat. Fat digests more slowly. Fat helps to keep our blood sugar level stable and more steady. And fat helps to prevent these cravings. So lots of good that fat does here, and so much more too. Same thing with protein. So you might actually need to have more protein and more fat. Why am I actually hungry right now? Why am I actually hungry before bed? And then feed your body accordingly with healthier foods. I hope you're doing well. I'm loving it. Let's keep going, diving into cravings. Number 3, my friends. So we talked about 1, we talked about 2, now we're talking about 3. Be willing to choose discomfort. Yes, this is a real thing. There is some discomfort when it comes to changing our habits and specifically changing our cravings and reducing our sugar cravings. Yeah, there usually is some discomfort there. So this one right here is being willing to experience and embrace that discomfort, knowing that it's totally normal, you can do this, and that it will lead you to such positive results. This is a huge one for me. Be willing to embrace discomfort. Not everything should be or has to be comfortable. So let's talk about what the heck I mean. So first of all, when we choose discomfort in the short term, it pays off tenfold in the long term, in the long run. Think about this. Talking about that evening snack, sitting on the couch thinking, oh, I could really use that bowl of chips. You know what? Just bring the bag. I'll just eat the whole bag. So that's really comfortable. That's a really comfortable decision. I am watching TV. I'm going to let the episodes just run one after another. That's already comfortable. But now we have chosen this other comfort of adding in the bag of chips. How do you feel? That is a very comfortable choice. But think of how you're going to feel tomorrow. You might be extra bloated. You will probably be craving those same chips or some other form of carbs or sugar for tomorrow night's snack. You'll probably be craving throughout the day as well. And how do you feel when your head hits a pillow that night, as far as, do you feel proud of that decision? No, not really. Because one of my things is, when I hit the pillow at night, when my head hits a pillow, I want to feel proud for my choices that day. Did that make me feel proud today? Not really. So it wasn't great. So even though it was comfortable in the short term, it doesn't make me feel good in the long run. Now think about 4 weeks from now, because every day is one day that leads to that time. Either way, the time will pass. So think about you 4 weeks from now, having made that decision every day or almost every day to eat those chips on the couch. Now, how do you feel? Like, that's uncomfortable. So you chose comfort every night, but now it's a really uncomfortable result. So we have to rewind to right now, and we have to say, I'm willing to choose the less comfortable option. I'm willing to not eat those chips. I'm willing to sit in the discomfort of that, of number 1, my desire for the chips being unmet, because that's uncomfortable. And number 2, whatever that feeling is that I'm trying to escape from by eating the chips, that's also uncomfortable. And I have to choose to sit with that. And in fact, if I sit with that discomfort, it actually helps me to get past those feelings. I can actually work through those feelings and not have them just squashed down with food, because so many of us do that, right? Why? What is one of the number one reasons we're looking for this short-term quick pleasure from food? It's because we feel a certain way or we want to avoid feeling a certain way. So I'm feeling kind of bored. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry, frustrated, overwhelmed. I'm procrastinating on something. Eating sugar right now is going to make all that go away. So, of course, that's what I want to choose. But did that really go away? No. Is it going to come back? Yes. Is it maybe going to feel worse now because I have to add on the fact that I just gave into my cravings again? Probably yes. So it compounds on itself. But if we say, okay, I'm just going to feel uncomfortable for maybe the next 10 minutes, maybe it's going to be a little bit longer, but I can do this, that will lead to way more comfort in the long run. And even that night. So, how do you feel when your head hits a pillow, when you're like, you know what? I made that hard choice today. I listened to my angel voice. She told me not to eat the chips. I didn't. It was hard in the moment. Yes, I was frustrated. I had to sit with that without relieving it with sugar. But you know what? I actually feel a lot better now that I did that. That is the pleasure that I want you to be after. That is the comfort that I want you to experience because you went through that uncomfortable part, both your desire for the sugar being unmet and actually experiencing those emotions. Just sit with them. Let them be there. They will help to dissipate themselves. They will get better if you just let them go through you without trying to squash them with food. Here's number 4. Make the choice to do it, because everything in our life is our choice. Everything that we do is our choice. Everything that we feel is our choice. Going back to yesterday, our thoughts become how we feel. We feel a certain way because of the thoughts that we are thinking or the thoughts that we have been thinking. So it's all a choice. So now this number 4 here is making the choice to do it. Get up in the morning, make a healthy breakfast, eat a healthy lunch, prep for a healthy dinner. That choice is yours. The more that we do these healthy things, the less likely we are going to be to want to choose the sugar, to want to medicate ourselves, so to speak, with these sugary foods. We have to make that choice day in and day out. And again, remember that sometimes it's more comfortable to sit on the couch and do nothing. Yeah, that's more physically comfortable now. But you have to think about your future self. That is way less comfortable for her. We have to think about her in every single choice that we make today, right now, starting literally from right now, 2:06 p.m. on Tuesday, August 29th. Yeah. Every single choice that we make starting now affects our future self. We have to be thinking about her because we will be her no matter what. No matter what we do right now, we will become her. Who do we want her to be? And those are the choices that we have to make today to reflect a healthier her, to effect a healthier her. All right. Moving on to number 5, move your body. I know this is one of those things that's like, okay, Laura, I want to eat candy. And now you're going to tell me just to go outside and move. Great. It's like super easy and exactly what I want to do. I get it. I don't want to do that either. I, in fact, don't even love going for walks. I don't love them physically. I'm like, I'm not a person who's like, let's go for a walk. Although now with kids, I do enjoy it more. But does it provide me with a lot of good benefit that I can feel once I do it? Yes. And is it a good thing to do when I'm feeling like, oh, I just want to eat something? It's going to make me feel better. It's going to make me happy. It's going to make me feel joyful. It's going to make me forget about this frustration that's in my brain. Yeah, going for that walk, way better than all of that. And it's going to make me feel better in the long run. It's always about that future self. It's always about the here and now pleasure in different ways. So, how can we find pleasure now? And it's also about feeding, literally and figuratively, that future self. Now, it doesn't have to be a walk. It could be a dance party with yourself, with your kids. That's what I like to do as well. It could be lifting some weights. It could be doing some push-ups and sit-ups or yoga, Zumba. I used to be a Zumba instructor for years. So much fun. So put on the music and dance. Go to a class if you're so inclined. These are the kinds of things that will help to increase our endorphins in a natural way, in a lasting and sustaining way, things that will make us feel proud of ourselves for having done it. And physiologically, so good, getting that blood pumping, oxygen moving around our body, that will give us true physiological benefits and mental and emotional, way, way, way better than what junk food and sugar could ever provide. Now, the final one, I've been peppering it throughout, and we talked about this at the beginning too. Truly realize and understand that sugar does not make you happy. We've been trained to believe that it does. We've been trained to believe that eating that bag of mini eggs will give us happiness. But we have to take a step back and say, okay, forget about this initial pleasure because it will give you that. It will make you feel happy in the moment. We have to forget about that. It's not actually making me feel good because it's causing my blood sugar level to skyrocket, which then makes it plummet way back down. My mood goes up, my mood goes way down. When it's down, all I want is more food. But I'm physically stuffed. I just ate that whole bag, but now I want the chips because I'm not actually satisfying what it is that I need. Maybe I need connection with somebody. Maybe I have to go through these feelings and just let them subside. Maybe I need to read a book. Maybe I need some time with my partner. Maybe I need to get that thing done. Maybe there's something that you have to tidy up in your house. This is definitely a me thing. And I just have to go do that. That feels way better when you're done that and carrying on throughout the day. Every time you see that thing that you finished and that you accomplished, it feels so good. That gives you the hit of dopamine. That gives you this rush of endorphins that you think you get from food, that you think you should get from food. But actually, it's not true. We should be getting this rush of endorphins from these other things that actually fill our cup, literally and figuratively. This is what we have to be doing in order to like truly effect change in our bodies. When we eat the bag of mini eggs, it just doesn't do the trick for us. But when we think about how, like, what actually is my body needing right now and listening to it and doing it, that is what will get us there time and again. So I want you to truly understand that sugar is not actually making you happy. It's not actually making you feel good in the short term or really in the long run either. Certainly not in the long run. And when we realize that sugar causes so much stress in our brains and in our bodies, it is so much easier to turn it down. So what I've given you today are so many reasons for listening to our angel brain more, listening to our higher brain and quelling that rebel voice, quelling that primal brain that just wants satisfaction now, like just give me the pleasure. Who cares about the future? I have given you reasons and things to do to help your higher brain make those decisions for you more often. And the more that you do that, truly, the easier it will become. And the more often you will make that choice. Because again, you're making these new neural pathways based on these choices that you're making. So the more that you make the not so great choice, the more likely it is that you're going to keep making that choice. So we have to come in consciously and say, I'm going to make that better choice and do it. And the more that you do that, the more likely it is that you will keep making that choice. And remember, the choice is yours. You can say, you know what, Laura? No, I'm going to go have that bag of mini eggs. And I would say that is totally your choice. All the power to you in choosing what you do for your body and your health. But I am saying that if there's a part of you that says, I don't want to do that anymore, that is so possible. It is so freaking possible for you to get rid of your food cravings, to get rid of your food addictions. I know it is because I live it every single day. I look at foods now that I used to be like obsessed with. And like, I can't wait to get on the couch and eat that food tonight. And now it's just like, I can't wait to get on the couch tonight and watch that show. I don't need that food anymore. And do I still have times when, yeah, of course I do. When there's stressful times when I know I'm putting off a task that I should be doing, of course I'm looking for food to try to get me through that time. But am I looking at those same exact foods like ice cream and chocolate almonds? Like those were my things, right? No, I'm not looking for those anymore. Am I looking for food still? Yes, because food is comfort and pleasure. Yes. But do I now use these strategies that I'm giving you today? Yes. And do they work for me? Yes. It's like amazing. I need you to experience this. And again, it's so multifaceted. So I can't just say, okay, you're cured. No more cravings for you. But at the same time, there is a switch in your brain that you can say, I'm not going to have that again. I'm not going to have mini eggs again. And I'm happy to make that choice because I know they don't actually make me happy. I know they don't actually make me feel good. I've been trained my entire life to believe that they make me feel good, but there's this switch in my brain that I can say, that I can interrupt that, what I have been trained to believe. And I can say, no, that actually doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't actually make me happy. So I'm not going to have them again. I can choose that. I can 100% choose that. And then you can, when you get rid of these cravings for these ultra sweet foods and just like the crappy of the crappiest foods, you really do taste real food again. You really do taste it fully. It's so cool because you get to experience an apple, a strawberry, grapes I had yesterday. And I'm like, wow, these are so sweet. Like, it's so cool when you can experience that. And not even just fruit, not even just the sweet taste, but you can truly, like, you can be mindful of your food again because you're not just eating for this dopamine hit in your brain. You're not just eating for this immediate pleasure, but you're going to get pleasure from your food because eating delicious, nourishing food is and should be pleasurable. But we're not getting that kind of like fake ultimate pleasure that we would get from sugar. That again, remember, you need to eat more and more and more in order to have that same result. So to taste your food again and really experience it and be able to be mindful of it and mindful of each bite and mindful of how it's making you feel. I am feeling satisfied. I'm not stuffed, but I'm not hungry anymore. I'm feeling satisfied. To feel that way is so amazing. And you can have that. You can have that. Starting today, you can have that. So let's review what we went over today. Activate your higher brain. Angel voice, more of her. Number 2, eat enough of the right food. So proteins, fats, vegetables, and eat enough. Don't leave that half chicken breast in order to have a snack tonight. No, finish your chicken. As long as you're not stuffing yourself, of course. Number 3, be willing to choose discomfort. The discomfort of not going through with that desire for your food and the discomfort of what you're trying to cover up by eating that food. So the discomfort of the frustration, the overwhelm, the procrastination, sadness, anger. Be willing to choose discomfort, knowing what it's going to give you in the long term. Number 4, make the choice to do it. It's your choice. Every single day, have that meeting with yourself in the morning and say, how do I want to feel today? What am I going to do to get there? When your head hits a pillow tonight, you'll get to say to yourself, wow, I did those things. Maybe I didn't get to everything, like physically I couldn't because the day was so busy, but wow, I did those things that I knew would make me happy. I did them and I feel amazing. Yes. So make the choice to do it, to eat the healthy foods, to make the salad dressing for yourself, to add the fats to your meal, to make sure that they're there. Make the choice to do it. Number 5, get moving. Have a dancing and singing party with your kids. Go for a walk. Get out in nature. Get out in the backyard. Do cartwheels. Get yourself moving. Get your blood flowing. Get your blood pumping. Get your oxygen flowing. Get vitamin D from the sun outside. Get fresh air. And number 6, truly realize and understand that sugar does not make you happy. Now, I want to know what questions you have. So if you're watching this replay, if you have questions now, post them. But if you're watching this replay, I want you to ask questions in our Facebook group, because this is the time right now. This is the week that we are doing all this stuff, and I want to answer your questions. This is such an important time right now that we are all in it together, where we can talk about your roadblocks, because roadblocks are normal. They're reality, right? They're going to happen, and where we can work through them together. So I want to see how you are feeling. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about a 6-week course that I have coming up. It's going to be an online program. It will be similar to this style. So we will have a private Facebook group. We will have live Zoom calls twice a week. You can ask questions throughout. It's very much an interactive process. And it's going to dive deeper into everything that we're talking about during this challenge and more. So tomorrow I'm going to get more into that and tell you all about it. But I just want to leave you with that if you're like, man, I want to go deeper. There's more. I know that there's more for me. I want to keep on this healthy eating path. I want to get on my healthy eating path. I have more questions. I want the motivation and accountability. Then listen up, because that is coming tomorrow. You might also say, I'm getting everything I need from this free challenge, and that's amazing. And I want you to get everything that you need. But if you want more, I will be available for that too. So I can talk about that tomorrow. As always, if you have questions, put them in the Facebook group. I can't wait to keep on this journey with you, because it's so exciting. Like, I can't wait to hear how it goes for you when you start to implement these things from today and from yesterday. Oh, like, it's so huge. So your challenge today is the same as it was yesterday, but then there's a little bit more. Your challenge today, which would make sense because of our topic today, your challenge is to cut out sugar for the week, at least the week. Maybe you're going to start working on these strategies and say, I actually don't want to have it back. And that would be amazing. But I want you to, if you haven't yet, and now you've heard me talk today about all this craving stuff and food addictions, and oh my gosh, it is possible. Okay. I want you to cut out sugar for the week. It's day 2. We've got 5 days all together. Maybe you're going to want to continue after that. And that is amazing if you do. And if you don't, amazing that you can do these 5 days. So that is number 1 challenge. Number 2, I want you to be conscious of going through your day today, your day tomorrow, and so on, and really feeling when that craving comes up. So the next time the craving hits, really feeling what it is, really figuring out what it is that you're feeling and or that you're looking for. What do I actually want right now? Because it's not just the ice cream. It is, I want the flavor. Yeah, okay, I want the joy. I want the pleasure. I want to feel good. Oh, I'm not feeling good right now. Or like, yes, I know I'm avoiding making that phone call. Okay, I should just do it. So are you avoiding? Are you trying to find some kind of feeling? Obviously, we're looking for pleasure, usually feeling good, feeling happy. Is it a feeling you're trying to avoid? Are you procrastinating on something that you just need to get done? Like, just go do it. Your challenge really here is to be aware of what it is and try to figure out what that is, and then share that in the Facebook group. You can tell us a lot or you can tell us a little, whatever you want to share. So you can say, I had a craving for cookies and I realized I was actually just bored. And then I didn't eat the cookies. I did this instead. So I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what yours are. The main thing is to be conscious of it. If you do post the homework in the Facebook group, you are eligible to win a prize in tomorrow's live Zoom call in day 3. You have to show up live to get that prize. So you have to post the homework in the Facebook group, show up live tomorrow on Wednesday, August 30th, 1:30 p.m. Zoom call, and then you could win a prize, a well.ca gift card, if you must know. So I superly hope that you will share. I can't wait to hear and go through it with you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to dive more into the foods because we've talked about the foods, but I want you to know more about choosing like different kinds of proteins and fats and fiber. Like, how do I really put a meal together and what kinds of foods should I be looking for? So I really want to go through that with you tomorrow. So that's tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to talk more about habits, motivation, how to develop healthy habits. What are some good healthy habits to start? And how long might it take to really have those new habits become habit, like ingrained habit, where it's just like natural? And we will talk about motivation. How can we truly motivate ourselves to continue on this healthy eating path? And then Friday will be a review where we go over all of it. So I'm so excited. I'm going to keep being excited because that is just me. And I'm so passionate about this stuff. And I'll talk to you in the Facebook group. Have an amazing day. Bye, Mama.